The transformation. The new beginning. The hours we put in when no one was watching. The long nights, the drive to make it right. The work you don't see until it starts to show. The comeback. Every sprint, every push, every release. All for this. We rebuilt what needed to be better. To deliver the RMM
You forgot to put a closing bracket there.
Oh, yeah.
To deliver the RMM you asked for. The one you deserve. Because that's who it's for. You. The techs who pushed us. The users who challenged us. The Redditors who Reddited us. This is the comeback. We made a stronger tool that's automation ready with more patching, smarter alerts, faster scripts, deeper data visibility. ConnectWise RMM.
Visit ConnectWise booth to learn more.
Hello, and welcome to our first day of IT Nation Connect 2025. I'm Jessica Jaguff, Senior Director of Product Support at ConnectWise.
And my name is Reese Crosby. I'm a Partner Development Executive with our ConnectWise Partner Program. Welcome to IT Nation 2025.
And we are welcome here with David Raissipour, our Chief Product Officer at ConnectWise, and Brian Lucky, our CIO of Integra. So welcome, guys. Very happy to have you here.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
So before we get started, David, I have a question for you. I may have saw a picture on LinkedIn, and I think the audience wants to know, are you a true Swiftie?
I am. I have 3 adult daughters. I have spent the better part of the last 20 years listening to Taylor Swift. I've been to many of her concerts. I have fun. I enjoy being with my girls, and absolutely, I'm a Swiftie.
I love it.
I just forgot my bracelet.
That's awesome. How many concerts have you been to?
5.
Oh, wow.
5 of the last tour.
You've got me beat. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Well, let's get into the actual details that we're here for today. So we've heard the phrase, data is the oxygen for AI. What does that really mean to you?
Well, just like most technology, I mean, it isn't magic. At the end of the day, AI is about analyzing massive amounts of data and making smart decisions based on that data. So the quality of the data, the integrity of the data matters. That's what results in better decision making, better automation, better inferences. And it's really one of the reasons we invested heavily in the common platform that we built. It was all about having a common schema, common data elements, a common data platform that enables that. So the quality of the data, the aggregation of the data matters. And that has really helped us in the last 12 plus months in really accelerating a lot of the innovation and capabilities that we've added to products, be it expanding our party of third-party patching for RMM to 7,000 plus, to the advancements that we've made in RPA, to our ability to move PSA along at a faster pace than we have in the past. That's been really powered by this common data platform and the clean platform that's enabled it. And for AI, it really underpins everything that AI is.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, especially from the Azure platform standpoint. We've been able to see that ability to, as you said, move faster, that faster pace. I see data and as the oxygen, kind of like lungs, the capacity, right? The more capacity you have, the faster you can run, the better you can be. And so it's critically important to make sure that your data is, as you said, cleaned and structured in a way to be able to expand the use of AI, and then also to have that data to be able to move faster.
Yeah, absolutely. How has the explosion of AI changed the way MSPs think about data?
Well, for a long time, the data that MSPs, really any business collected was for reporting or compliance purposes or to be able to have historical records. But now it's become the way to analyze every interaction, every device state, every piece of signal that you collect to be able to predict future events, be proactive in the way you provide services to the organization and your customers rather than reactive. That is really this change in the way not just data is collected and stored, but how the value of that information is realized in the products you use, in the integrations, and allows you to be a lot more agile. So once again, one of the reasons, certainly before my time, so wiser people decided to do this, they invested in this common platform of ASIO was to power those integrations and capabilities and proactive abilities so that you can have security and your BCDR products and your RMM products really work in tandem on top of that common data platform.
Yeah, I think most MSPs think about data as a point in time. So they look at a data point and they say, how many devices do we have? How many, what type of device? It's a very simplistic single point. But when MSPs really think differently about their data, they can understand what are the devices across all of my customers. What are the firmware? So you could definitely see a different change in mindset. I know internally we have a different mindset now on data and how we use it and how it can be used in a predictive manner. But I think it's critical that MSPs change their mindset on how that works and really have that mindset shift to understand how data can work and how it can better integrate into their business.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're seeing that cultural shift in MSPs for sure.
Right.
Agreed.
And I really like the analogy about the lungs and the oxygen, right? I mean, the data is the oxygen, but you have to have the lungs to absorb that oxygen.
100%.
And what do you do with it from there, right?
Yeah.
How do you actually become a better athlete, as you kind of said? So the importance right now of data, like why do you think it's so critical for the data and the way that integrates with AI? And how do you see our partners adopting that?
Well, the connections matter. It's, we talked about that common schema and common data elements. Siloed applications or, standalone applications collect a lot of information, but if it's not shared in a way that it allows other systems, other tools, other applications to be smarter and make better decisions, at the end of the day, just collecting a lot of stuff. And I'll give you an example of it, like an RMM product being able to tell you the health of a device, right? Or your security product being able to tell you that there is a piece of malware on it, there's something going on. That common device information, that common state, being shared from a security product with an RMM product to a BCDR product allows the MSP to build really seamless solutions across the apps that they have and automate that across everything so that a bad device can be taken offline, a virtual image of that machine could be stood up so the employee could go back to working while the device is fixed, cleaned up, and brought back online. And all of that relies on that underlying connection between the applications and the data sources. That's why it makes it so important.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about going from reactive to proactive, right? That's really where you get the operational readiness that I think MSPs need to be successful. And I think when you think about data, it's a differentiator from the organization and from other MSPs. So if you want to be a competitor and you want to compete within the space, you have to have that data and you have to have it structured and then being able to use it, right? People want to go right to AI. They don't want to think about the data. I just want AI to work. I just want to do things for me. But to have that underlying as a linchpin is important.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the other things I think about is when we're talking about data, there's all this information coming at us, right? We've got all this data, but is it more important to have more data or more, better data, like more actionable data that we can actually ingest and then take some type of remediation path on? So
it's like a trick question. I want more better, right? Volume by itself is irrelevant. It actually becomes noise at some point. It doesn't become a signal.
Yes.
So the quality of that data matters. So if you have to choose between more or better, have higher quality rather than more. And just a minute ago we were talking about individual applications collecting a bunch of data. If it's not correlated, if it's not structured, it's just stuff. And that doesn't help you. Maybe it makes you feel more secure that you have it, but it doesn't become actionable. So the quality of that data, the relationships, the aggregation, kind of the normalizing of data across all the different signals that you have in the organization and all the different tools that you have, that's what makes it powerful.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a world, in a society where more is better, and in this case, it actually is worse. It takes you backwards. So, collecting everything is good in theory, but having the good data, if you will, and making sure that you use that data for insights, I think is extremely important. We have a data intelligence platform in Integris, and so we think about smart data when we talk about data, and that platform for us makes us smarter. But we may get everything, but we don't use everything, right? We make sure we get the data in the right place, and it just helps us accelerate what we need to do, and then as well accelerate our ability to leverage AI better.
Yeah, and I think the important thing there is when you have better quality data, it leads to better actionable intelligence.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and speaking of data, I mean, I think this brings us to the point of why the platform is so important. What happens when MSP's data is spread across multiple systems and silos? What effect does that have?
It creates gaps. It creates friction. It doesn't mean that no application by itself will be able to work. Absolutely, it will. There's lots of automation that has been built on standalone silos of data, and it is automation. But I think I'd speak for Brian as well to say you definitely notice the gaps between the applications and the integrations that they have, so that everything becomes a multi-step process. That example I gave you of a device going offline and be able to use your security products and your RMM capabilities and your BCDR to create this seamless experience for your customer goes away because every one of those just acts on its own. So the gaps are visible, and wherever there's a gap, there's an opportunity to miss.
Yeah, I mean, I would love all of my partners and vendors to come together and give me one single pane of glass. That would be amazing. It's just not going to happen. So I think being able to have one platform, especially on ConnectWise and the Azure platform, is important for us, and it's important for MSPs because you have everything in one place. You have one single pane of glass. You can get anything you want. You can look at the different devices. You can look at the entitlements for each device. I think it's really important, and it's critical to be able to succeed in this time of business, especially for MSPs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key takeaway from this is platforms just centralize the data, and it helps us on a day-to-day basis of having one centralized place to be able to work from.
Agreed.
Yeah, smart platforms that integrate, smart platforms that correlate, smart platforms that normalize, make it better.
Yep. So where are you seeing AI make the biggest difference for MSPs today? Like, what are the dramatic changes we're seeing for the MSP marketplace?
I mean, it's for me, at least for Integris, and I think when I talk to most MSPs, it's all about the operations. How can we make the operations most efficient? So triaging and we call it intelligent skill writing, getting the ticket to the right person with the right skill at the right time, with the right capacity and the lowest cost resource. So there's all these things and ands and ands and ands. But I mean, that's where really AI is making the most impact. And really, I like to call it automation intelligence because I think you have to have automation with AI together. That's kind of my coin term. You can steal it. But I think it allows us to have fewer tools. The engineers don't have to look at a whole bunch of different screens. And it provides them the ability to service our clients better, and that's ultimately what we want in the end. But I think this year we've saved over 20,000 hours just on automation and AI. That's 125 FTE worth of capacity. It's a lot of people. Now, the good news is we're not going to get rid of 125 people, right? But what happens is we're able to bill more, we're able to be more efficient. We're able to service a customer better. The engineers are able to get more training, so we're able to upskill our staff, and we're able to do things that we were never able to do. And I think that's ultimately what an MSP has to think about is how can I scale my staff so I don't have to hire more people? It's a cost, right? And also the more people you have, the less ability you'll be able to better serve your clients. So it's all over the place, but operations, I think, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, well, that's the answer that actually matters. But from our perspective, it's about taking data and turning it into action, right? And then how do you connect those actions to achieve a result, a resolution, an outcome? It's not about just being busy or doing it faster. At the end of the day, it has to have the right outcome.
Agreed.
And that's I think the biggest shift is how do I take all the information that I had that allowed me to make smarter decisions, take those smarter decisions and turn them into actions. And then how do I take those actions and connect them to achieve outcomes for my customers? I think that is the biggest shift that at least we have seen in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of MSPs, they hear things, they want to do things, but I think you're 100% right. The word outcome is the most important part of this, is what are we trying to achieve? What's the benefit we're trying to get out of it in the end? And if you start with the end in mind and work backwards, I think MSPs will be more successful in that way.
Awesome. So Brian, question for you. So for MSPs that are unsure or feeling overwhelmed about going to an AI and leveraging different solutions like that, what would you recommend? Where would they start?
Yeah, pick one. If there's anything I can do, just pick one. If you look at all the stats, AI fails here and these projects fail here. If you look at most of them, the reason is they're trying to boil the ocean or they don't have an outcome. But if you're trying to do too much as an MSP, you just got to choose one. Just get really good at one thing, learn from it, and then move on to the next one. And progress is a funny thing. And it's just kind of a snowball effect in a good way. When you get one, you're like, okay, I feel good. Then I'm going to get another one. And then maybe I'm doing two. Maybe I'm doing three. And you just keep the momentum, right? That momentum's a funny thing, and making sure that it's successful. And I think that's what MSPs need to do. Instead of, don't worry about what everyone else is saying and what the world's saying. Focus on one thing that you can make an impact or a better outcome for your business. Focus on that, be intentional, and be successful at it, and then move to the next one. And even success could also equal failure, right? As long as you learn from it and you can understand it, you can move on to the next one.
I like that analogy too, especially the World Series just passed, the Dodgers won. But if you think about it you don't have to have a grand slam.
No.
If you have base hits, you're still getting those runs
Correct.
in. So
Consistency is key.
Consistency.
Yep.
Yeah, measurable results.
100%.
Measurable outcomes. And that's why it's such a great idea to say, look, you pick one thing. You define the outcome that you want. You define how you're going to measure it. And then you implement. See if it worked.
Yeah.
And if it worked, you do more. You define the next outcome that you want. Technology, it's a means to an end. It's not the end itself. So it is that customer outcome, that resolution, that CSAT number that you get, that feeling of, wow, like you've solved the problem for me. All of these are meant to all these tools, whether it's data, AI, agentic AI, it's meant to help you achieve that better, faster, more consistently. And yes, along the way, sometimes less expensively. But it is all about the outcome. A faster, cheaper way to get the wrong result, not sure you want to do it, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think 1.2 is we want instant gratification. And what we've seen in our AI and automation journey is it's not always instant. We will do things and not even notice or understand the outcome in a good way for 3 to 4 months later, especially on CSAT, right? It's always a lagging indicator. So I think it's important to, yes, measure and make sure, but also understand that you may not see the total impact till a later date as well. So being a little patient is good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. Coming from the support world, it does take time to see those effects and the customer stats that come back. Like, it's not going to be an instant gratification, like you said.
100%.
Like, we have to look at the numbers over the past 6 months and see, okay, where are we gradually moving?
Right. Yep. Being agile and nimble, I think you mentioned earlier, is the way you want to approach this for sure.
Well, let's look at a forward-looking lens as far as focusing on innovation, security. What's next for the platform? What should MSPs be prepared for?
MSPs, this is one of those points where it can create a lot of disruption, or it actually can create an opportunity to reflect back and optimize. So for MSPs, it is all about how do I use agentic capabilities and AI as an opportunity to first take a look back at the way I operate, the processes, the procedures, the outcomes that I want, and then look at the tools and say, how can I allow myself to grow without this linear growth of my expenses in terms of people cost and what I do, and really optimize the business for almost unlimited growth. Now the potential is just how fast can you show the results of your achievements to customers and get more customers to go out there. But what it does is it allows to build businesses for scale. It allows for businesses that are flexible, It allows for businesses that can identify problems and fix them once, and it instantly gets fixed everywhere. Think about when people do it. People have bad days, I know I do. When I don't have my coffee in the morning. So those types of glitches in the system go away. And because AI is best at taking structured, well-defined, repetitive, or frequently actioned tasks and automate them, you also get consistent results. You get 24/7 coverage. You don't get a bad day. You don't get a bad telephone connection. And the notes are always the same. The output's always the same. So it provides this level of consistency and ability to grow that probably hasn't existed in the past. It required training dozens and dozens of people to make them experts.
Over a long period of time.
Over a long period of time. And here you can identify a problem and go, wow, I just fixed it for every single customer at once. I think that's the big change.
Yeah, I think, you talked about consistency. Consistency breeds confidence, right? When you have confidence, you're able to do more things, and if something goes down or something doesn't work, being able to recover from that confidence helps from that. I think most MSPs today are trying to figure out automation and AI on how to just make their businesses more efficient. I think the next stage is going to be predictive. How can I get predictive analytics? How can I predict churn? How can I predict a health score for a client? How can I predict a device going down? Like those are very critical things, and I think ConnectWise and the Azio platform is helping on that in terms of having those predictive insights to be successful. So I'm really excited to see how the industry moves. I mean, we're kind of moving that way over there and really focusing on what predictive insights we can get. But I think that's the next stage in this journey. I think it's exciting as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think the answer is clear. The future of MSPs success lies in autonomous, data-driven service, which is, driven by our Azio platform and a unified platform. So
one of the things I heard you guys mention a couple times is agentic AI. So I'm very excited to learn more about that over the next couple days.
Yeah, we have some great news here. We're going to show it at the product keynote. We're going to show off some stuff that's real in production today, where once again, we wanted an outcome, so we set out to optimize how we achieve that outcome through the agents that we've built, put it into production, and then we can measure the consistency, the savings, the quality improvements, the better SLAs. Those are the outcomes that we wanted out of what we did. And it truly is the future. It's an assistant. These are the capabilities that allow us to do more, better, faster. They're not here to replace us. It's not HAL. It's not taking over the world. But it does allow us to do things more consistently and do them faster.
Yeah, I think it allows MSPs to focus on the right tasks, right? I think that people get caught up of how we're going to replace people, but how can we reposition them to focus on the right things and better service our customers? But I'm excited for today. I've seen a little bit of sneak peek. Yeah. And I'm not going to say too much, but I'm going to say I think it's one of the best releases ConnectWise has had. So in terms of at an IT Nation, so I'm really excited for the world to see it. But I think you guys are doing really, really good stuff and excited to see more.
It's a fun time.
Oh,
it's a fun time. It really is a fun time.
Very excited, especially when we're talking about run, grow, transform. That's our rally cry. So we want to make sure we're delivering that to our partners. So yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for
having us.
Appreciate
for having
it.
us.
Hey guys.
Thanks, sir.